Hey, if you're a pet owner and you love pets, you might want to stick around to the very first spoiler towards the end of this video. Other than that, we're going to give you the spoiler free part, and then we're going to give you spoilers at the end. Hey everyone, this is Mike Lovelace with Real Dead, and today we're going to look at the spoiler free and then the spoilers for Never Let Go, which is a movie that just came out this past week that stars Halle Berry and really good acting in this movie. Let me go ahead and present this to you what the current Rotten Tomato score is from the critics and from the audience on the first weekend, and then the synopsis of the movie. Again, this is the spoiler free section, and then I'll give you my opinion on the tail end of this and the spoilers about a little more detail what it's about, and maybe if you've seen the movie, we can discuss in the comments what you think it's about and how you took the movie, because this is one of those. It's going to be very controversial for many reasons. Number one, it's kind of a psychological thriller, so people may read between the lines different ways on this. So let's check it out. All right, so the Rotten Tomatoes score so far is 65 from the critics and 53 from the audience. So it's not fresh. The popcorn meter says a 53. The critics overall kind of like it a little bit more with the 65. Again, Halle Berry and then the two young kids in this movie are incredible. Really good actors in this. One thing I love about this movie, and this is spoiler free here, is that there is a small cast. So you get to kind of know the kids, you get to know the mother, you get to hear some history, what's happened in the past, and it kind of gives you a better understanding, number one, of each character, and then also what they've went through to the point where they're at now. All right, here goes the synopsis. From visionary director Alexandre Aja, The Hills Have Eyes, Crawl, and executive producers of Stranger Things, the rival comes Never Let Go. In this new psychological thriller horror, as an evil takes over the world beyond their front doorsteps, the only protection for a mother, played by Academy winner Halle Berry, actress in the leading role 2001 Monsters Ball, her twin sons in their house, and their family protective bond. Needing to stay connected at all times, even tethering themselves with ropes, they cling to one another, urging each other to never let go. But when one of the boys questions if the evil is real, the ties that bind them together are severed, triggering a terrifying fight for survival. So, again, the actors in this movie, again, Halle Berry. As far as the kids that are acting this, you got Anthony B. Jenkins, who plays Samuel, and then you got Percy Dags the fourth, who plays Nolan. And let's just jump into our opinion on this, spoiler free. All right, spoiler free on this. Kind of the synopsis pretty much tells you the story baseline overall. It's a psychological thriller. It's a situation where you don't know if things are real or not real. Is there something supernatural going? Is it all in the mind? And I think this movie overall will kind of bother some people. It kind of bothered us, not having the answers to everything. Of course, this may or may not. You have to listen to spoiler part of this. Set things up for a second one, but it definitely makes you think, and you're questioning the whole time. Now, I will say, like I said earlier, the acting is great. I stayed engaged and involved in this movie the whole time. It's around an hour and 41 minutes. Trying to figure out, put the pieces together, the puzzle, and trying to figure out what it was going on in the movie. But for some people at the end of this thing, you're going to be like, well, I don't know if I agree with that or not. And you're going to be like, man, what a waste of time. But I think it is something that, in my opinion, that is worth watching, just to keep it real with you guys. Again, that's my name here on the channel, Keeping It Real Mike. Is I would watch this one at home. I'd wait till it comes out and stream it. It's just spending a bunch of money. If you got some kind of package deal, or you just want to go out and there's nothing else you want to see, it'd be worth watching on the big screen. There is some jump scares in this. Some of the visuals are really good. Um, is it the scariest movie I've ever seen? No, not by far. It's more like I said, a psychological thriller more than anything. You're trying to guess, is this evil? Is this real? Is this mental issues? What is going on in this movie? Um, I personally, my wife and I watched this movie, and I want to, say this. Stay for the spoiler part because I do have a comment. If you're a pet lover, I'll just say one thing up front and then give you time to cut off that I do want to bring up. But this movie is one of those that I think it's much better probably watched at home. I would, the 53 for the popcorn meter, I think it's right on. Me and my wife said, okay, what if 5 was average and 10 was excellent? What would you give this movie? And my wife said a 5, and that's what I'm going to give it to. So I'm giving this movie a 5. Um, I don't know, maybe after over time, maybe watching again at home, maybe it'll go up a little bit. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Is it bad? No, it's not bad. Is it great? No, either. But listen, if you like Halle Berry and you're a Halle Berry fan, I think you'll enjoy her acting in this, and the young kids too. They're really good actors. They do a great job with a small cast. All right, so now the spoiler section. And I'm going to say this first spoiler up front, and then I'm going to tell you go ahead and leave so you don't hear any other spoilers. Um, this movie has and I won't tell you all the details of it, but this story has a scene which lasts 3 or 4 minutes, a couple minutes at least, in which the family pet um, could be put down. Let me just put it that way. And the family may have to, put the animal down. They don't have to. It's a choice. And this really upset my wife. We're big animal lovers, and it was the point that she really started crying, like crying during the movie, and if to the point we almost had to get up and leave. So I do want to preface that if you are really tenderhearted and love animals, this thing could be really tough on you. And if you want to stay for later on to hear the rest of it, the spoilers, it could definitely mess up the movie for you. But this one thing doesn't, it's not the answer to the whole movie. But if you are a diehard pet animal lover and you love man's best friend, this it could really upset you. It did my wife anyway. All right, so let's jump into the spoilers. So this movie is as Halle Berry is the main actress. She is the mother of these two 14-year-old twin boys, and she's told them the whole time that hey, the world, this is an end, and the world, we're the only ones left alive, and that there is evil out there, and then if you don't, the house is built in protection by her father. There's a lot of Christian, um, symbolism in this, and in the trailer I'll be showing here, you'll see some of that as well while I'm talking. But this family, the mother, you don't know if this mother is just losing it. Her husband. You go through the story of this, and you find out that she's killed her husband, and she's killed her parents, and she's got her two sons here, and it's just her and her two sons living in this house. And if you get outside that rope, the evil in her mind is seeing her parents, seeing her husband, seeing her father, seeing other, like there's a little girl in it, but seeing them come back and try to get her. Um, and if they touch you, and then that seeps into the house, it will kill the rest of the people in the house. So if they do venture outside and go outside that rope, which happens a couple of times, she makes them put their hand on like a something wood of the house and say a prayer. And if they can't say the prayer, then that means she would have to kill them. There's also a scene where they put the kids in like this like bunker type thing, dungeon type thing, where they have to she makes them stay there for like a period of time, and and tried to let the evil go. And so there's a lot of psychological stuff here. You just don't know, hey, is she a bad parent, a good parent? Is there really evil out there? Or she just lost it, over time? Um, and the kids, Sam and Nolan, Sam believes his mama more than anything. Nolan's kind of venturing out. He's took the rope off. He's went outside and came back, and it's not as big of an issue with him. He thinks his mama really telling the truth or not. So during this movie, as it goes on, the little boy starts questioning, and the mother hears him questioning her. And there's a scene, and this is kind of going back to the spoiler about the animal. And this is a big spoiler for you. Um, they start starving. They have no food. The winter's bad. They don't have any food. They've always grown their own food. They kill, they eat frogs and squirrels and rabbits, and the animals are not coming back, and they're going to starve. And the mother tells the two boys, said, "Listen, the dog is an older dog, and if we don't eat, we're going to die. We only have about a month left." So they want to take the family dog, or the mother suggests killing the family dog and eating it so they can stay alive for throughout the winter. Nolan absolutely says not. He's the one that fed the dog under the table, even gave him part of his food. So this thing goes out into like a shed or greenhouse, and the little boy, I mean, she's sitting there with the gun. I mean, it's a like a spear gun, going to shoot the dog, and that's when my wife really got upset, and she's grabbing my hand, and she's just really crying bad in the theater. And I was like, man, if she kills this dog, I mean, we're probably going to have to leave the movies because she's that upset about it. Come to find out, the little boy takes a machete, cuts the rope, and uh, cuts the rope of his mother's, and shoves her in the greenhouse and locks the door. And she starts wanting to come out. She's like, "Let me out of here! Let me out of here! Let me out of here!" Well, then it looks like this you think it's this evil entity, which looks like her mother, is in there with her and bringing up things to her and talking about, "You poisoned me." And next thing you know, Halle Berry takes a piece of glass and cuts her throat, and then she's out. This is probably 3/4 of the way through the movie, and they leave her out there. And then the one brother is upset about it. He was trying to revive his mom to get her back. Samuel in the movie. No one's like, hey, no, she was sick in the head anyway. That's not the end of the world. So they start venturing out for food more. The one boy, Sam, is really getting in bad shape, not eating, and he's starving, and he's really gotten sick. His brother, ties all the ropes together, and he tries to go out further looking for stuff. He finds a road, and he starts questioning, hey, there's a road here. Um, First time he'd ever seen pavement, and he starts screaming for help. Well, he goes back to the house, and all of a sudden this hiker shows up and says, "Hey, are you okay? I feel like, I heard somebody screaming for help. And listen, I'm here just to help." And the boy says, my brother's sick. We're hungry. We hadn't ate." And he starts questioning some things. So then you don't know if is he real or is he not? Well, the brother comes out who's sick, pulls out the like the spear gun, like the spear arrow, and threatens to shoot the guy if he moves. And the guy moves, and he ends up shooting the guy. And the guy goes out, running through the woods. And the other brother that's tied up, that's not sick, goes after him. And the guy's like bleeding really bad and calls 911. And the little boy grabs the backpack, brings it back, and it's got a bunch of food in there, like the guy said. So then you're thinking, okay, is this real? Well, then later on in the movie, not too far long after this, all of a sudden the boy's outside looking in the shed, thinking he hears something. He sees his mom, and then a little girl shows up and says, "Hey, have you seen my dad?" Her dad was the backpack guy, and that turns up not being true. And then she touches the little boy, and they say this shape shifter can go into different forms and touches the little boy. So then you feel like the evil is in the little boy, Sam, not Nolan. So he comes back to the house. His brother asks him to put his hand on a piece of wood and say the prayer, and he won't do it. So he knows that he's got something on him. Um, at this point in the movie, Halle Berry's starting to come back, and the little boy that's Sam, that's was now somewhat looks like he's possessed. He sets the house on fire, and plays this little music, crank music, old timey music box, and then he takes this Polaroid camera and takes a picture of him smiling in front of the house burning, and his brother's trying to get out, and he's like, the house is not going to save you now. So then at the end of this, the little boy pulls Halle Berry's character into the dungeon where she made him go in and like say his prayers and get the evil out of him. And then the mother turns into this like snake. So there's a lot of Christian elements with like, the Garden of Eden, the snake, symbolism of Satan or the evil being the snake. The characters like Halle Berry's mother and dad, they're sticking their tongues out and they got a forked tongue. So that's where you get some of I think the Christian symbolism in the movie. But at the very end of this, all of a sudden look up and it's airlifted a helicopter's up there and the house has been burning and they airlift a little boy towards a hospital. Then he sees, there's cars, there's hospitals, everything his mother said there was not out there, there is. His brother is in the helicopter with him, and he asks his brother, it's going to be okay. And earlier in the movie, the brother named Samuel said, "She likes me more, she loves me more," or something. And then he said he didn't say that, so it was like the evil was saying that. And he says it again at the very end, and that's how it ends. So the movie, again, like I said, is a psychological thriller. You don't know really at the end is how much was real, how much was not. Is this evil entity? I'm personally thinking more of it was real, the evil entity. The mother just had some craziness going in her head, by telling them there was nobody else out there whatsoever. She probably said that just to keep them safe, but definitely a psychological thriller, and you're trying to guess the whole time what's going on, and then at the very end, it kind of comes together. It definitely sets it up for a next one because in that Polaroid picture they showed at at some almost the very end of the movie, you see the boy looking at the smiling like with the evil smile in the Polaroid picture, and there is a hand on his shoulder like an evil hand, like his mother's or something. So that makes you feel like, okay, it is evil. So again, Halle Berry does a great job. Psychological, you don't know if she's losing or not, or is it really evil? This is one of those, again, I think it's probably worth watching when it comes out. Just too many questions on this thing. So if you like that kind of stuff, you're going to like it. To me, there's more questions than there was answers by seeing the trailer and then watching the movie. And I just don't really know how I feel about it. So in saying that, like I said, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. And again, if you're diehard animal lover and you don't think you can go through that point, it's a 2 to 4 minute section, 3 or 4 minute section where you think she's going to kill the dog and they're going to eat it. And it really upset my wife. And listen, I'm a pet lover too. But if it's things like that don't bother you, it's not going to bother you. But thank you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe to Real Dead. And we are your horror channel with horror conventions, horror collectibles, movie reviews, trailer reviews, you name it, horror. We're your channel. Have a good one. Bye.